How's it going, gang? Everybody doing all right? I love you back, man. All right, so you can tell I'm a location photographer because I agreed to shoot groups in public. So there's no measure of pain that can be inflicted that's greater than things I've already experienced in my career. So when they said, how about groups? I said, okay. Anybody here enjoy shooting group photography? Really? Really? God, that's a first, you know? Jesus. I would rather do certain other things than shoot a group photograph. Maybe swim with alligators, something along those lines, something appealing, you know. But I see my Nikon buds in the audience. Thank you very much. I'm a Nikon USA ambassador. I'm here at, they invited me to come out to PIX, so this is all kind of new for us, and it's been, you know, a fun day. I hope you guys are enjoying it. So I believe I have a model who's going to be the anchor of my April. Yes, you're over there. Fantastic. And we'll get going here. We'll get going. I'm going to ask April to wait for just a minute or so. The basic issue with groups, I mean, there's a whole ton of things that go into the background of shooting a group photograph. We're going to get into some of the mechanics right now, but the watchword, obviously, always, is make it fast and make it fun, you know, because people want to leave. People are not apt to spend yards and yards of time with you in a group photograph. And it's always the person who is in the front row with the garish hat and the plaid skirt and the you know, the welder glasses that are going to produce a highlight from any place you put up a flash that is the most difficult. When's this going to be over? You know, kind of thing. How long is this going to take? You know, and the inside voice is screaming at that point, right? It's going to take as long as I want it to take, lady. But those are inside words. You don't let those out on location. You're gracious, you're kind, you're charming, you're persuasive, you're funny. All those things that we need to be, in addition to being a lighting technician, a bit of a psychologist, and a staging person to make sure everybody's right, you know, in the frame and all that sort of stuff. Quick tip. Anybody ever said to a group, if you can't see the camera can't see you? Anybody ever said that? Yeah. Horrible thing, right? You know, but it is commonly shared wisdom. Here's a quick small tip. Get people to open and close either of their eyes. Because if someone's partially hidden by someone else and half of their face is behind someone, their eye that they can see the camera with makes the mental adjustment and they say, oh yeah, I can see the camera. So have them do this and this. It's funny, actually. Shoot pictures during it because you got a whole group of people going like this and this, and it's actually mildly amusing. But it's also very effective to make sure that someone is actually physically clear and fully in view of the camera. Small thing. Thank you for coming. You think I'm actually going to shoot pictures? Oh, that's it. All right. So I had a photo subject who was standing by. Michael, are you around? Where are you, dude? All right, so I saw Michael hang out for a second. Shooting groups is what? It's all about size of source, basically, right? Let's talk about size of source, which automatically sort of seems to run contrary to the idea of using speedlights, right? Because speedlights are small, and you got to make them big. So that's what we'll investigate today. Small speedlight, small source, single portraits. Seems to be a logic to this entire operation here. But I saw Michael, and I thought, you know, dude, before I get going with a group, let's just say, let's do a speedlight picture, a single light picture with a small box, okay, and show you just the effect and feel of one speedlight on a face. And immediately you'll be able to tell, like, yeah, that's fine for one person, but this closes out of town when it comes to groups. Okay, with me on that? I need somebody to help me. Dude, you were here earlier. You're like a glutton for punishment. Come on around. All right, how's it going? What's your name?
Damien.
Damien.
Big fan.
Nice to meet you. All right. Michael, come on up. Now, Michael was helping me set up some stuff earlier. Would anybody agree that Michael's got a fantastic face for a photograph?
I hope I don't get in trouble.
Come on. No, you're not going to get in trouble. Yeah. If anybody's going to get in trouble, it's going to be me, you know. All right. Damien. Michael, I want you to step out on the stage here. And I want you to go profile for me. In other words, I want you to look right over there at that general direction, okay? All right? Damien, you work with Nikon speedlights?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so you know the sensor's right over here.
Got it.
You got it? Okay. We're going to see if we can light Michael this way. Anybody have anybody betting in the audience? Any betting people in the audience? Hang out for a second. Reason I ask if you're a betting person is I'm just wondering if you think this first exposure is going to be any good. What would you do in a situation like this with this marvelously graphically pleasing background? You'd run screaming the other direction, most likely. Most likely, you'd try to get rid of it. Let me see what happens here if I just do this. Let me switch screens here. All right. That sort of kind of gets rid of it. Can you guys even begin to see that? A little rough. There's a lot of wash on these screens, so bear with me. I'll pass my camera around. We can all take a look at the LCD. How's that? Not going to work. No. Okay. All right. So I have a basic exposure of ISO 400 at 250 at 5.6, which sort of gets rid of everything in the background. Sorry, Samsung. You're done. Okay. So, you know, I'm going to isolate Michael in the foreground. Now, when I said about betting, does anybody think that this is going to be an excellent TTL exposure right out of the back? Let's see. Adrian, let's put it like that. Michael, you look eternally peaceful. That's wonderful. I mean, you just look amazingly calm, and I think that's awesome. All right. So let's see about this. Let's see what happens. Hang in there. Anybody think that was a good exposure? No? I mean, it's a good exposure. Is it a pleasing exposure? No. Why? I use straight flash. Quick thing, right? Let's switch to the remote light. Here we go. You ready there, Adrian? Let's see what happens here with Michael. Michael, you're awesome. All right. So, TTL exposure, first one's a little bright. Take it to the bank. Any TTL exposure that you bring in a profile position, I'm talking very fast. I'm in Seattle. I've had a boatload of coffee so far this morning, okay, and this afternoon, and probably will, you know, well, anyway, it's Seattle, it's coffee. So when you bring a light from the side in a profile position when you're in TTL, what is the camera starting to lack? A little bit of information, right? Because everything is traversing. The lens is not sucking it in. So you can take this to the bank. Any profile exposure you make out of the gate with a TTL light, you're going to have to minus out some exposure. I'm going to go minus, let's call it, let's select this and let's call it minus 1.3. A little better? A little better? Now, can anybody over here catch? I'm serious. Brian, you all right? That was a wonderful presentation, dude. How about a round of applause again for Brian? He did a great job. All right, so Ttl Sensor is over here. Gotta keep folks on their toes, right? Ttl Sensor is that little recessed dish by the battery. So why don't you maybe stand up, Brian, if you don't mind, and let's just fire it at the back of Michael's head here. Okay? All right. Now that's going to be a B group light. So let's take a look at that. I got to program it first. 0, 0. Here we go, Michael. Fantastic. All right, so now we got a rim light. Okay? Now we kind of isolated Michael. Cool, right? You could go down this path if you wanted to, and really maybe drop a black background, get something, you know, really dramatic with Michael here. Isolate all of him from the rest of the, in fact, does anybody see Sam Elliott up here? A little bit, just a little bit. Have you ever been told that, Michael?
Many times.
Many times. I'll bet. So I'll tell you, let's do one last portrait. I'm going to come in a little bit tighter. Same pose. Maybe kind of look down a little bit. And maybe a little bit off this way, kind of. Adrian, bring that. And I'm thinking like, go to Sam Elliott, looking out at that prairie, on your horse. All right? Maybe you're a little tired from riding the range, etc. All right. Now, I could also modulate that light in the background really easy. I can tell Brian's light to calm down, but I'm not going to spend any more time there. But I just wanted to do a couple of isolated lights, get us out of the gate, because this is wonderful. It's easy, it's great, it's fast, it's intuitive, and it's also designed for one person. All right. Michael, you've been aces. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Brian? Thanks, man. All right, man. Okay, so Adrian, you want to stick with me up here? Because I definitely, when anybody asks me to help as a location photographer, what's your first response? Yes. All I can get. Thank you very much. Yes, we're always in need of help as photographers. How about we welcome April? She's going to come up here and help us out. The lovely, amazing April. How are you? Nice to see you. Now, I use some harder light for Michael, right? Because that's a face. Is Michael still here? He'll appreciate this, actually. He's fine about it. Been around the block a little bit, right? I'm in the same boat, right? Seeing a little bit of life. Now, April has a different sort of face. Young, beautiful, vibrant, astonishing, lineless, just endlessly, enamored. Okay. But I'm going to make April. Now, all you guys are laughing and smiling and all that sort of stuff out here, but guess what? A bunch of you are about to come on stage, okay? So automatically start to tense up a little bit and kind of, let's do a little bit of a light for April, okay? Actually, more than a little bit of a light. This thing up here is called a tri-flash. Let me get it hooked back up again. Guys, I'm very comfortable up here. I'm not tired. I'm not proud. I got 64 gig cards. You guys are screwed. I would shoot this all night long. So if you guys want to interrupt me at any point in time, feel free to do so. I'm very comfortable with all of this. If somebody wants to say, hey, wait a minute, that kind of thing, I'm easy about that, okay? Just beware that your question is going to be live streamed to several million people. So kind of, keep it clean. All right, that kind of thing. All right. Okay. Let's see here. All right, I think my dome diffuser went missing, but we can manage. All right, so I'm going to heat up these three lights. They're all going to act as a group. Group A, channel 1. All right, so I'm going to switch this guy. It was in group B for the previous iteration. I'm going to take this guy, make it a group A light. I'm going to orient all the sensors so they're kind of back in the direction that they need to be. You know what a beautiful thing is about speed lights into a large source? See, this is a big umbrella here. Anybody ever seen, like, you use a bigger light source, and maybe there's a highlight side on one side and too much shadow on the other? The nice thing about articulating with speed lights inside a large light shaper, as opposed to a bigger flash, which is de facto centrally located, is that you can click them around. So say I wanted to bring light into the lower quadrant of the umbrella, I can take the light and click it down, and I can actually direct the intensity of light within the same light shaper, which is actually sort of a cool thing. You would agree? Yeah, okay, all right. So let's do this. April, would you mind standing out here? Okay. Adrian, you doing okay?
Yeah. Damien, yes.
Damien. I kept saying eight. My bad. All right. So you're looking good? Everything feel good? Okay. All right, so I got a 24-70 millimeter lens on, which is not a classic portrait length lens, trust me. Okay. Oh, let's kill this guy. Let's kill that guy. Thanks, man. All the way off? Yeah, there we go. Shooter locally?
Bellingham, north here.
Nice. What kind of stuff you shoot?
Portraits inspired by you.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So I'm going to direct this light now. Take B group out of the equation. Reprogram A. If you recall, I had it down at minus 1.3. Let's go to 0, 0. Okay. Now, as I said, this is not a classic portrait length lens, but I think April can handle this just fine. I'm staying with the 2470 because I'm about to get a bunch of view up here. Okay, here we go. You look absolutely lovely, sweet. Okay, so that's now, out of the gate. A much softer, rounder light, right? It's a bigger source. Everybody knows that, right? The bigger the source, the closer to your subject, the more soft and rounded it's going to become. Now, let's see. Let's try this. Let's see if we can fill this a little bit. Maybe just put that down if you don't mind. Could you take a half a step back, sweet? Thank you so much. We're going to fill you a little bit here. I'm going to come in with this guy, tiny bit closer. Okay, doing excellent. Okay, you look perfectly wonderful. Okay, quick little beauty snap, kind of a commercial looking headshot. What Brian was saying earlier is absolutely true. You have to interact with your subjects. You got to make them feel good. Always remember that even for her, as beautiful as she is, standing in front of a lens on stage in front of a bunch of people is a very vulnerable place to be. You got to remember there's a human being out there. You see it too often. Photographers get so wired up about f-stop shutter speeds and this and that. They forget that there's a person out there. They forget to relate. And then they get an absolutely technically accurate photograph that is absolutely lifeless, because they forget to draw something out of their subject, to pull something out of them, to interact, to make them laugh, make them sweat a little bit. I always feel that the best portrait sessions come from when both the photographer and the subject are at risk a little bit. You both are exposed, you're both on the wire. It means something to both of you, okay? Those produce the best portraits. Now, I moved this pretty close to April. Now, I'm not going to do that with a group. I'm going to reverse it. A parabola shaped like this umbrella, I use it as a shoot-through for portraits, lovely light. But if I want to scatter it around a group, I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to go with the parabola shape behind me as a reflected source, because it's going to scatter all over the bloody place. Okay, with me on that? Now, let's imagine that April is a rock star, and I need like 6 guys, big guys, up here now to be her. Yep. Come on, 6 guys. I want a security detail. Dude with the lumberjack shirt, don't even think you're not going to come on up here. Come on. All right, come on, big guys. Gentleman with the beard over there. Yeah, if you didn't want me to call on you, then shave, dude. All right. Okay. Let's do this. What am I? Don't make me pull this car over. Okay, and get back there and choose or separate you. Gentlemen, right there with the, no, you gentlemen with the goatee. Yeah, there you go. Okay, what have I got here? I got, leave. Sorry, dude. You can be the financial manager, not so, not so much the bodyguard. Okay, all right, so let's do this. Okay, so everybody needs to gather on either side of April. April, you need to turn around. Now, carefully, let's work our way to the edge of the stage. Okay, in here, guys, in here. I need another dude. Sir, with the ball cap. All right, so I need you guys to crowd in tight. Shoulders, angle shoulders, get in tight. Menacing, arms crossed. Don't you mess. She's our meal ticket. You don't mess with her, okay? Now, you stand in front too. You're the proud rock star. You give me a little attitude too. Kick a hip, give me some, yeah. Oh, I says, oh, yes. Attitude is coming very naturally to April. All right. So, let's do this. All right, gang. Tighter, guys, tighter. All right? Now, can you hold this, please? Thanks. Now, what I do is I get my subject's position relative to the light. So I'm going to kind of slide in here and see how this light is. I can tell already it's tipped a little too forward. I'm going to open it. I'm going to raise it up high, and I'm going to feather it a little bit, right? Make sure my sensors are collected. I take a look here. That's going to be a much nicer light. If you notice, it's skewing this way. Why? I only got one light source for a big group. I'm going to have to basically cross light. I'm going to throw the light from that position to the far end and hope that the near side group is going to be lit with the feathered edge of the light. Okay? Now, I can't feather this too much because it's kind of a shoot-through umbrella. The lights, let's face it, this light, when it goes off, is going to be like I just took a box of kittens and dumped them on a table. Okay? It's going to go everywhere. All right, so I had no exposure adjustment in the light. Here we go. Okay. Nice, you guys, nice. Attitude, perfect, perfect. Fantastic. Okay, so losing a little bit here. Now, what can you do? I'm losing this gentleman a tiny bit. He's got a little bit of a tan going on. Let's flip you guys. Flip. There we go. That's what you can do, right? Wardrobe, skin tone, all that sort of stuff. Move people around. All right, here we go. Good. Nice. Okay. All right. So I got a nice looking lit group portrait. A little dead on the low side, right? Little dead on the low side. So I got one flash left. I think I do. Oh, yeah. Damn it. Let's do this. Let me rip this guy out. Here. You hang on to that. All right. Did you ever think you'd hear me say I only have one flash left? More flashes, please. Master wishes to put the light over here today. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we got to kind of rip this guy off, throw that over there. Then I'm going to give this guy as a fill light. What I'm going to do, and I'm sorry for this, guys, the way this stage is set up, I'm kind of behind the deal here, but you'll be able to figure this out, I'm sure. Nothing strange is going to go on any level. I'm going to turn this into a group B light, okay? I'm going to take this guy, which is a Lastalite tri-grip. It's a silver side. I'm going to throw it on the floor. Now, I'm courting danger here a little bit. Why? I thought it was going to, because you're an idiot, dude. Because you're doing this in public. Because this gentleman here and this gentleman here have glasses. Anytime you bring a low light, ooh. But in a group, you might be able to get away with it because it might be small hits. The overwhelming energy of the group might absolutely drown the minor technical imperfections. I tell you right now, I got imperfections galore. I mean, look at me. But in my pictures, like crazy, right? Nothing is ever perfect photographically, okay? That's why I don't pay any attention to folks who kind of like are chewing on like the fact that there's some pixels blooming and dude, get a life, get a picture, okay? That's what we're here for. There's an emotionality that you're after right here, right now, okay? And the technical aspects of the picture, if you're within bounds, it's going to be okay because human emotion trumps everything, right? Okay? So if I have a little bit of darkness in the background, life is too short to fix that maybe, okay? All right, so here we go, man. I'm going to pull this back. I'm going to throw it on the floor in totally scientific fashion. Group B, let's do this. Sorry, I'm not throwing anything at you just because you're a video photographer. Going to zoom this guy to 50 millimeters, make sure my sensor is up, and let's bounce it just down like that. Okay, now guys, this is a Glamour Portrait for a double truck in Rolling Stone. You want mama to see this. You want to own the camera, okay? You want to fight for attention. Come on now. Attitude, attitude, attitude. Okay, you see the way that lifted it? See the way I bounced that light back up in there? There's a little more juice, a little more guts, a little more glamour, okay? Lee? Sorry, dude, I wouldn't trust you with my money. You know, look a little crazy, you know? You look like the kind of guy who's got an offshore account someplace. All right, so now let's do this. Now, if I drive that, how am I doing on time here? I'm out of time? I'm out of time. All right. Yeah. Okay, well, Bobby Lane is up next, and I have her husband hostage on stage. So Bobby, relax, okay? All right, so I'm gonna bounce the low light up a little bit. We're gonna do one more exposure, and you, April, be the essence of cool. All you guys, I want you to give me muscles, biceps, and I want you to scream at the camera. I'll scream with you. We'll be embarrassed together, okay? All right? And don't worry, this is only being streamed to millions of people. Okay, all right. Ready, ready, ready. Come on now. 1, 2, 3. Ah! And we're done. Thank you very much.